Guys, this is done. It's tired now. 31 hours. The game's repetitive. It's the same shit over and over. The pulls are getting ridiculous. How much money have I spent on this game in 2 months for these characters? It's silly. Zombie LA Night was available in loot, and we boot up the game and we start to play it. And I'm going to be honest with you guys at this point. All right? You could tell when a vibe has changed. All right? You really can. When something has hype behind it, when something is exciting and people are showing up because they're engaging and they're having a good time, you could tell the difference between that and people are just showing up just because they want to show up to kind of support you or whatever, but they're not necessarily caring about the content you're doing with something. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say it, that's basically the vibe that I'm now getting around WWE Champions. And when I say that, I mean, when we started playing WWE Champions it was either late August or early September. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember exactly when we started playing it. But man, it was like almost like a taboo thing to do. If you remember, the reason that it was so taboo and everyone was interested and excited in this was because so many years people had given me shit, right, for playing mobile games and for hiding the fact that I did and lying about it publicly and all of that. So the fact that Darkside Phil, the guy who's been crapped on by his detractors and others for so many years, was actually going to go online and play a mobile game live was like a big double fuck you to those out there who'd been crapping on me.
And how couldn't it be? Everybody knows that the best way to own the haters and trolls is to do exactly what they accuse you of, but instead of doing it privately like normal, instead you do it in front of a live audience. You really got them there, Phil. Going back to reality though, it's no surprise to me that WWE Champions is on the downward slope. I'm honestly surprised it made it as long as it did because I've tried to sit through those streams. Really, I have. There's just nothing to enjoy. His commentary is pointless, the gameplay, if you're even willing to call it that, is almost non-existent, and the visuals themselves couldn't hold anyone's attention. It's insane that he spent as much time and money as he has on this slot given what the actual game is moment to moment. In fact, the entire idea of playing WWE Champions on stream was poorly conceived from the start, and really the biggest problem, as is always the case, is DSP himself. He just isn't knowledgeable enough to really explain the game to newcomers, despite his encyclopedic knowledge on the characters, and he isn't charismatic enough to make up for the entertainment value that the game itself is lacking. WWE Champion streams had no business ever existing, and I'm happy to hear that he's getting the hint.
And then the fact that when I started playing it, all of a sudden, everyone starts dumping money on me, saying, here's some money, spend money on the game. You know? It was insane. Not once. One time, we raised $700. And another time, if you can believe it, we raised over $1,200 in a WWE Champion stream. I want you to just think about how insane that is, right? That is wild. Now, what we were doing, and this is the momentum of the game, was if I make a lot of money, I'll do some pulls in the game. And it became a running thing that if I hit the goal, I'll do a mega pull. Now, in reality, that means that I'm making less money that night because I'm spending the money right away, right? But, hey, I'm owning the meme, right? I'm making it clear that I can do whatever I want with my fucking money and no one has the right to criticize it whatsoever. Those days are done, correct? I've now destroyed any ammo that my detractors had against me when it comes to mobile gaming. It's completely done. They have nothing to say about it whatsoever. They're completely irrelevant, right?
Imagine being so concerned with your trolls online that it's genuinely a major reason behind why you are doing entire streams. This guy really lets people online control his actions, and that's just beyond sad. I can't pretend it didn't work out for him though. I mean, you heard how much money he made. Obviously he's winning here and we're all felt it. I just find it disgusting how confidently he can talk about money, how confidently he can throw it in his audience's face that after years of lying, scamming, and begging, he's continuing to take dent had money and funneling it directly into Scopely's bank account. Why is he so comfortable? Does he not feel any shame sending hundreds of thousands of dollars down the drain for nothing in return? That's one of the things that gets me the most about DSP. The shameless way that he will discuss his finances to his audience and how flippantly he'll waste that money in combination with begging. The whole thing is just next level. And the truth is that nobody needed to know that he made $1,200 on a stream. Saying as much just comes off as arrogant and reminds people how inept he is with money and why they shouldn't be supporting him in the first place.
And to be quite frank, I think a lot of people actually enjoyed it because it was wrestling. And I don't do wrestling content anymore, right? I used to play all the WWE games. I used to do Sims. I used to have a wrestling commentary show. And those days are long gone. So I feel like now this is something different. This is something interesting, correct? So that was fun. But it's been 2 months now of me playing WWE Champions on and off. And I do feel that things have changed. Let's explain. And by the way, good morning to Rend. How are you? Lucky Gremlin, how you doing? I see more people are coming by and saying hello. How's everyone doing this morning? Okay, so in the 2 months that I played WWE Champions, we established that me playing it once a week wouldn't work. It wasn't enough to stay caught up with the events and do things in the game, correct? So I started playing it twice a week, and that worked, except now that we're into the busy gaming season, and now I'm juggling a bunch of games, and now particularly this week, Call of Duty has a ton of content. I've only touched upon one of the 3 things of the content in it because of my time constraints. Sonic X Shadow Generations, I've only played it once. Came out on Friday. It's Monday. I've only played it once. I'm playing it again tomorrow, but I don't even know if I should play it as the day or night stream, right? And now we got another game coming out tomorrow, Life is Strange Double Exposure. Well, guess what? How can I even play it right now? I don't have time in my schedule, right? So with all this stuff going on, to say, oh, we're going to take 2 streams out each week to play WWE Champions is like, why? During this time of year, typically, even if I had like ongoing chill streams, I would suspend the chill streams so that we could play the new games. Why am I not doing that with Champions this year? It's a good point.
How many times can he find himself in the same situation and still not understand how to better it? Because I swear, multiple times a year, this buffoon is ranting to his audience about how behind he is on games and how he's got so much to do. At what point is he gonna realize that he alone is responsible for how slow he progresses through these games? And that this issue he seems to constantly be having is exclusive to him, and no one else, content creator or not, has issues keeping up with games they want to play and enjoy. Sure, some people with real-life jobs don't get to play as much as they'd like, of course, but even they seem to be better at getting through games they want to play better than the guy. And it's not difficult to see why he has this issue in the first place. Just look at some of his streams. There's large sections of dead air, nonsensical tangents that go nowhere, and parts where he just gets up and leaves the stream entirely. If you really wanted to add up all of the time, you could also include all of the time that he spends updating leaderboards and scrolling through fast food menus to find his next item that he's going to order for his dumbass goals. But these sections that ultimately just lead to bad content can be minutes at a time, and those minutes add up. They turn into hours over the course of just a couple of streams. So it's really no wonder everybody else can purchase and complete a game when DSP can't even get out of the extended tutorial. The guy wastes more time than anybody else.
And the truth is, it's because this kind of game, again, it was popular for a while to see me play the taboo game, and also, if you don't play it, you basically fall behind. The way this game works is you must keep playing it, you must keep trying to league up, you must get all the weekly rewards, you must do this, you must do that. It's a time sink. I know. I play the game on my personal account, and I've played it on and off since the game came out for 7 years now. I know how these games work. They want your time. They want, what they call it is the sunken cost fallacy. They want you to believe that because you're investing so much time in it, you have to keep investing time in it. Because if you stop playing, you're throwing away all that time and money you spent on it. You must keep playing. But what does that mean? More time invested, more money invested. And that's the catch. That's exactly what they want you to think so that you keep spending money. Get it?
If he understands this, then why does he continue to play the game? Now that I'm thinking about it, actually, has he ever said anything positive about WWE Champions since he started playing it on stream? Aside from how much money he's made, of course. I, of all people, understand playing games that you don't particularly like to enjoy. I have a very love-hate relationship with Call of Duty. I wish that I didn't enjoy it. I really do. But I do still have positive things to say about it despite all of the negatives and all of the aspects of it that I hate. It just seems to me, though, that every time DSP is talking about Champions, it's in a negative light where he highlights just how predatory the game is. He's even willing to acknowledge that it's not only demanding your money in the form of these giant microtransactions, but it's also a time sink that requires you to log in non-stop just to keep up. So where is the fun? What is the draw to keep coming back? Because it's definitely not the gameplay and it's definitely not the visuals. It's almost like he's addicted or something.
So for me, we've now been playing this game, get this, 31 hours. Yes, it's longer than major playthroughs that I've done. 31 hours of WWE Champions. We've had a fun time. We went through the whole Bloodline, new Bloodline month, and Zombies month, okay? I've actually gotten some of these characters. I got 2 of the new Bloodline characters, and I got one of this month's new zombie character, okay? That's awesome. But what I'm noticing now is when I play Champions, attendance is way down. I'm not even kidding you. Right now, on this podcast, I have 289 viewers on YouTube. I have, about 30, 40 viewers on Kick? I'm trying to refresh. It's not loading. 40 viewers on Kick. So right now we have over 300 viewers for the podcast. I didn't even have that many people watching WWE Champions last night. That's how much it's fallen from grace. When I started playing it, we had 400, 500, 600 viewers on YouTube, right? This was before I was co-streaming. There was a lot of popularity there. People wanted to see that, right? And also, I'm definitely noticing the support has been very, very dried up. It used to be people were incredibly forthcoming with support when I played the streams. Here, take this, do a poll. We want to see it. But now I've been doing polls for 2 months. And it's tired, right? It really is. It's tired content, I feel. I feel like it's something that maybe a small audience is interested in it, but it's just not for the mainstream anymore. The gimmick ran out when I destroyed the meme. I owned the meme, and I said, this has no power over me anymore. I can play as much as I want, anything I want. You have no right to criticize me. Trolls, fuck off. That's that. So to see me do that the first few times was fun, but then after that, people were kind of like, oh, this is boring, right?
I've never understood when people, lolcow or not, try and determine what others can and can't make fun of them or criticize them for. Like, it's just not up to you, idiot. How do you not understand that? Anybody is allowed to criticize him for anything that they want, and there's nothing that he can do to stop them, whether he owns the meme or not, whatever the hell that's even supposed to mean. He is right in one aspect, though. He did take a lot of the fun out of it. Actually watching the gameplay of Champions is so boring, it somehow detracted from the overall comedy that is the fact that this guy has spent a fortune on pictures of cartoon men. And I think that it really boils down to the fact that he's just shined a light on how pathetic the entire thing really is. About the only part of the stream that was even interesting was how he seemed to know a lot about it, but sources say that he isn't even actually knowledgeable and is often just giving out false information. And it appears that the detractors aren't the only people that have had this allure wear off when it comes to WWE Champions, because even DSP is out here acknowledging that the support isn't being handed over as easily, that it's slower and slower every single time he streams the game and less people are showing up. And obviously the money is the real issue. I mean, why would he waste his time pulling on a second account for dupes when he could be playing the new releases and capture those day one views to go spend his money on his main account? If you think about it using pig logic, everything that DSP says actually makes sense.
And here's the thing. I want you to understand something. We could easily play other games that are chill stream games that are gonna fill the gap of WWE Champions, right? We can bring back Stardew Valley. Coming up next month, you know what we have coming out that's gonna be amazing? Microsoft Flight Simulator, the new one. Playing that on my gaming PC, do you have any concept of how amazing that game's going to look? So we can be flying around the world, looking at cool landmarks, cities, awesome things, and we could be hanging out and having a good time together while we do it. Flight Sim was a very successful game for me several years ago when I played it on my Xbox Series X. I know it's going to be very successful as well in the modern day, okay?
Ironically enough, these Microsoft Flight Sim streams that he's hyping up sound like they will contain exponential amounts of dead air. How many games and playthroughs has he left abandoned now, though? He sat here talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator, but what about that Sea of Stars playthrough that he swears one day he's going to finish? He's gonna spend hours and hours flying a plane from one side of the world to the other, but couldn't spend hours and hours playing Metaphor, an RPG that he absolutely wants to play? And I think that this is another reason why he can't seem to keep up, because when given the opportunity to fit in games that he wouldn't normally have time for, he fills the time with nonsense chill games that nobody wants to see, and it just cultivates an atmosphere akin to retirement homes TV time. WWE Champions is one such example. He shoehorned in playing that in order to capitalize on the casino, despite how bad the streams actually were, as far as the content was concerned. And when it's not a chill game, it's an impromptu Q&A session or a technical support stream. He never manages to find time to just play more video games, you know, that thing that he's supposed to be doing full-time over on DSP Space Gaming.
So, we're okay. I'm okay with chill streaming, but I'm listening to the crowd. I'm listening to what everyone's saying, and essentially what people are saying to me is, guys, this is done. It's tired now. 31 hours. The game's repetitive. It's the same shit over and over. You know, the pulls are getting ridiculous. How much money have I spent on this game in 2 months for these characters? It's silly. I agree with you. Now, if you like mobile gaming and you like that formula, you know, I do too. Go for it. But I at the end of my stream last night, I basically said something very, very simple. Play responsibly. Don't get addicted, because I've been there with so many mobile games in the past. Particularly, I've told you guys about this one, WWE Supercard. This was one that I really had issues with, that I was putting too much time and money into, and it got me into trouble, okay? So, having been through it, I wanted everyone to understand that the reason I spent money on this game ever was because I was raising the money on stream to spend on it, and I never spent more than I raised, right? You gotta play these games responsibly. And I left it with that as the final message.
That's only true if you're talking about his second public account, though. He spent far more than that on his main account, no doubt about it. And that's the part that he leaves out, because his entire narrative immediately falls apart if he actually has to address the fact that not only was he spending on stream, but he was then immediately following that up by spending even more on his main account. And you'll notice that anytime that he talks about his ridiculous spending of the past, he'll describe it as an addiction and something that got out of control and he couldn't help and was detrimental to him and his business. But anytime that he talks about his current spending on WWE Champions, his main account or his alt account, all of that spending is entirely responsible, controlled, and completely acceptable. Just imagine listening to a bankrupt drug fiend on the street try and tell you that same story. Guys, in the past, I was addicted to hard drugs, right? But now I'm doing them on the night stream, and you guys, you're loving it. And I'm not spending more than you guys tip me. So what I mean by that is, it's not that big of a deal, okay? And anyone who's saying otherwise is obviously a dunce. Anyway, and I'm not trying to say that hard drugs are an obvious parallel. I think that hard drugs are a bit more serious than a gacha addiction, but he went broke and destitute all the same, so I guess it might as well be for the guy.
Now, will we ever go back to WWE Champions? It's a maybe for me. I could definitely see us every once in a while getting bored and having a random night and say, hey, let's just do it. Let's do a Champions night. Let's boot the game up. Let's play it. Let's see what's going on in the game. Maybe if we get enough support, do some pulls randomly and see what characters we can get or whatever. I don't think that it really holds water as something to do regularly anymore. I think people are bored with it. Me too. Me, including me. You know, I've seen as much as we can possibly do. Basically, what's happening is we boot it up, we do the daily stuff, we do whatever tours are available, and then it's like, well, there's nothing to do unless we pull. So unless people pay money now to hit the goal, there's nothing to do in the game. It's boring, right?
But wait, I thought that due to the events, he had to play the game more than once a week just to keep up because it was a huge time sink. Now he's sitting here and telling us that actually there's nothing to do unless you guys are willing to keep giving me money to do polls. How does that make sense? Those are contradictory statements. If that is the case though, couldn't he just not stream Champions the whole time? If there really is only about an hour's worth of content at a time, why wouldn't he just do that for an hour and then play something else after? Maybe he could even make more progress in games he's behind on or something. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, you guys. But that seems to be like the exact type of thing that would not only solve his backlog issue, but also allow WWE Champions to continue to be a staple of his content, despite that not being what I personally want. Obviously, he could never do that plan though, because he's just so stubborn about his schedule and the structure of his streams. He loves to claim all of the time that he's changing for the better and trying to make better content for his audience, but he's so stringent on his schedule casual that it actually suffocates any sort of organic fun from actually being had. It's like he doesn't understand that a strict adherence to a schedule like this, when you do it every single day, can make these streams feel so mundane. They can add so much monotony and just make you wonder why you even tune in. And I'm not just saying that from the perspective of a detractor. He said it himself that WWE Champions viewing is way down, and there's a reason that a lot of the people that came over from the Kino Casino arc are no longer around and supporting. He just doesn't offer anything particularly new on a regular basis. It's the same shit day in and day out.
So it'll be fun, I think, every once in a while to go back. Like, maybe people would want to see me play it around Black Friday week to see what the character is that they're doing for Black Friday. Maybe you want to see it around Christmas, right? Maybe we'll do that. But outside of that, I think we've seen enough of the game, and it's time to give it a break and play other new releases in its place. We need those streams. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need the time for the hot new games anyway. So I'm totally okay with now saying, adios, champion muchachos. Maybe we'll see you again. It's basically, it's run its course, correct? Fair enough? Okay. So guys, thank you for 2 awesome months of WWE Champions. And I hope that you guys enjoy, all right?
Oh, trust me, we didn't. The ending of the WWE Champion streams couldn't come fast enough, if you ask me, and that's why I wanted to make this video. I wanted to do a little bit of grave dancing. It's a celebration. I'm just hoping that moving forward, DSP will pick more entertaining games to play. Not that it'll make the content any better, it'll just be more entertaining. He did quit WWE Champions just in time for Dragon Age Veilguard to come out though, so I really hope that that's a game that he decides to play just to hear him complain about it. That'll be it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a shorter video this time around, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Be safe. Goodbye.
That I can do whatever I want with my fucking money, and no one has the right to criticize it whatsoever.